52-year-old John Berry from West Derby, who was a Japanese prisoner of war for 4 years, 12 months of it spent working on the notorious Burma Railway. Mr. Berry says he can never shake hands with the Japanese, and he finds it difficult to forgive and forget. In this interview with his son, businessman Mike Berry, John describes life on the Burma Railway.
Just think of it. Daylight to daylight, in bare feet, and get the bowl right all day long. And in the red hot sun, only a little cup of water 2 or 3 times a day. And the water has to be boiled every 20 minutes to count up cholera. And it didn't give you time to let it cool. It was all speedo. Everything was speedo. And when you got back to the camp, down the mountains, most of it had to be flaked out. Even as you go, those of us had willpower. I wouldn't say strength, because nobody has any strength. They'd go down and get water and boil it, and try and dispose of us, more or less unconscious, most of them. Try and make them drink the water, because you knew if you couldn't drink the water, you'd die, you know.
Was the work during the day on the railway very, very physical, very hard?
Very arduous, very, very hard. Can you imagine a rock, you empty all the soil off the rocks, leave the bare rocks. Then you get a meter bar, between you, every few yards, for about 300 or 400 yards. And you slug this meter bar in. Now, if you tried to do, you could never get that bar in the meter, that bar like down to the meter mark, because there was a knock in it. You just keep turning the bar. Otherwise, the powder just congeal. And you have to take the powder out every so often with a little, like a clam cork on a bit of wire. Otherwise, you'd never get to the bottom. One man would usually hammer, the other man would hold the very chunky one with his hands. And lots of times we had malaria. And malaria is like, smears, I can say, it's like a form of drunkenness. You don't know what you're doing. You think you are, but you're not, you know. It would be 4 or 5 or 6 hours. That's how long it would take you to get down the meter bar down. And then when the meter bar was, when we were down to the depth, you pull the meter bar out. And then the Japanese used to put the TNT in. But it didn't give you much chance to get away before they blew all the mountain up. Many times you was just down below, and you'd have to put the chungles over your head to stop the blow coming on top of your mouth. You could hear it clatter, clatter, clatter. And that's how they do it to about 300 yards at a time, 300 or 400 yards. And then you'd have to go back up in your bare feet, of course, and clear all this shattered rock for about 5 meters, because this was going to be the railway, you know.
What state were you in? Were your feet cut and your body covered in sores, or what state were you in physically when you were doing this work?
Oh, well, I suppose we was cut, and we used to get thorns in our feet, because around this area there was bamboos and all that growing, and you often got bamboo thorns in your feet. And you have to be very careful, because once you got a cut or anything, one day you have a little bit of a cut, and next day it would be a big ulcer. All your leg, all your flesh showing the bones. You'd never dream it could happen in 24 hours.
And how long were you on the railway, working on the railway?
About 12 months.
And every week of the year, or did you get breaks?
No, we worked all the time, day in and day out. It was speedo. They couldn't get the railway built fast enough.
What time did you start in the morning, and what time did you finish at night?
As soon as this daylight come up the morning, we was on our way up the mountain.
What time was that?
About 7:30 or something like that, I'd say. And then you work up there till it's just going. When you left the job, and you come down the mountain to the tent where you slept in, you could, it's just be dark, so you lost another minute of daylight on the work.
Then you slept?
Yes, slept. No, first of all, you have to get bits of wood and that and try and make a fire to boil some water from the river to get yourself some drink. Otherwise you wouldn't survive. The drink you got John J was done up. And as I said, quite a number of the men were too exhausted. So only one achievement of the willpower to do it was get the water and keep going, you know, as you're supposed to be able to spark out, you know.
And where did the cruelty of the guards come into it? So far you've not mentioned the guards. What did they do? Did they knock you about?
They used the rifles on you. For no reason whatsoever, many times. And just push the button to your hips. And they used to use bamboo canes. That when the bamboo cane split, used to cut you. And they always hit you over the head.
If any of the prisoners fainted because of the heat on the railway, what happened?
Oh, they checked them. They shouldn't give them no mercy. They just checked them till they come round. They shouldn't give them no mercy. Anybody got no mercy. There's no use of doing anything like that. The ball and stick or anything. But they didn't worry about that. They just checked you. As a matter of fact, when they were short of men, some men that was dying had to come on the railroad and over lamps, even though they were dying. You know, for the others.
Did any of the men retaliate, and if so, what happened?
The only time I ever seen them on retaliate was in Saigon before I come to the railway. This Japanese hit him with a rifle, and the man shot him. And of course, we got him in the goat arm, and we battered him. And he died not long afterwards. Severely beaten.
John Berry, who worked on and survived on the Burma Railway.